So hopefully that worked. It should be. There we go. Yes. Good morning.
I still see the go live to start event.
And it says here end live video, like I'm live.
Okay.
But I'm assuming it's this event. Oh, good morning in Kelowna. Hi, Carrie.
Okay, bye.
Crystal, good morning. Nice to meet you. Where are you chatting from? Blustery day. Hey, Julie. Oh, I'm live and you can hear me talking. Good. Great. I'm going to just hang tight here for a minute or so and then I'm going to get started. There's lots to talk about and share. Very interesting times, huh? From Spain, you made it, Concha. Nice to see you here on. Hey, Lois, good. Great. This whole, I don't need to do anything, but it's like lessons in this whole thing would be good one day. So, how are you all? How are you doing? You know, it's pretty crazy times out there. You made it. Anne Bethune, nice to see you. Yeah. All right, one more minute and I'm going to get started here. I love seeing your messages and thank you for joining me. And so please say hello if you're here online. Such a strange medium, right? Connecting, like I feel connected to you and it really helps if you say hello. And yeah, hi Krista. Intimate relationship lessons, big time. Yes. Oh gosh, there's so many things going on, health issues and stuff. It's like, and the next 2 months I think are going to be challenging, you know, for people, but I'm going to talk about this. Let me get started here. So great to see you all. Welcome to those of you who are here live. I love that you joined me live. And thank you to all of you who watch this later, you know. And so, hi Denise in England. Yeah, nice to see you. Thank you. So yeah, hello and welcome to Conscious Conversations, December month of the metal rat in the year of the metal ox. And so if you've not met me before, which are a few of you, I'm Marlyna, and my purpose and intention here absolutely is to help you step in your power. This is for all of us. And part of that whole process is then learning how to, first of all, understand what's going on and what our part in this whole process of metaphysics are, like how we are creating our reality. And I want to help you have a life with more connection, more abundance, and perhaps most of all, more peace, right? Peace. And so destiny, our destiny, to create our best destiny, we need to live a life of action, not reaction. Yeah, Lois, can you pop up the link? That's great. So people can get their charts if they need to know their charts. It's absolutely important. Thanks for the reminder there, Julie. So destiny is a combination of many factors, but it is one of action. And I think a lot of people kind of think that destiny, I remember waking up when I was 30 years old, around that time, bolt up in bed, sit up straight. And I realized that I was letting the boat take me, the boat of life, take me in a direction. And I thought, oh my God, I'm just like my mother, you know, who totally felt that she had no control in her life. And certainly there's things within that we can't control. But I realized it's like I need to steer the boat here, you know, like and to take some responsibility in this and to learn this. And so here are some important takeaways. To live a life of destiny, you need to live a life of action, not reaction. Okay, so I want you to really think about these. And then the other is to create a new level of your life, it demands a new level of you, right? It is a new level of you. The energy that created the problem cannot solve the problem. So this is how, and you know, I'm sure many of you follow different readers and people who talk about energy and metaphysics, and it works in a loop as we spiral up, and we may come back to the same type of issues, but it's now a new version of ourselves. And here's another really important takeaway that I want you to just think about. Everything happens to you, not for you. So with that, we are vibratory beings of energy. And so I know if you're here on this call or following me, you know that. And time is energy. And so if we learn to work with energy and to see it as an opportunity, and I've talked about this many times, like winter doesn't mean you're dead. It means that you're in a cycle of transformation before the seeds start again. And every type, our homes have vibrations, people have vibrations, we have vibrations, and we need to start choosing what we're going to attach to and how we work with it. So there's so much going on. This is a very sacred time. This is a very sacred time. And so if you can, first of all, just embrace that, oh my God, it's so exciting to be alive, because we are souls that are creating a new future. We really are. The earth is going through a rebirthing process right now, and we are part of this process that is bringing it to a higher vibration. However, rebirthing, the most traumatic thing that any of us go through really in our whole life is to be born, right? That whole process of being born. And that's where we are. We're in the birth canal. And so there's darkness and there's light. And I love how metaphysics can help explain that whole thing. And it's really important to remember right now, as we're in literally here in Vancouver, in Canada, in the darkest part of the year, that there can be no darkness when there is light. Okay? And so within each of us is light. And the key to the time right now is consciously choosing to become light. And so that I'm not talking about being a big thing. It's just being present, being the best person you can be, being kind, being the virtues of what you value. So I'm sure you've noticed that lots of people, perhaps even yourself, are going through some very big issues. Okay, and before I just get deeper into that, I'm going to talk about what's going on now, and then I'm going to talk about each of the signs and the astrology predictions, and then I'm going to actually give you several activations that'll help transform yourself or support yourself through the energies going through it. Okay, so how many of you have felt that you're going through big wake-up calls this year? You know, and the wake-up calls could be health issues, they could be family issues, money issues, different types of issues, but like most people that I'm talking to are going through huge dramatic issues right now. And even some of them may be good. New relationships, deciding to go to school, changing jobs, overdoses, right? And so one of the biggest things that's happening because of those events and whatnot is we are being asked to look at our emotional responses. How are you dealing with that? Because as we go from the last couple of years, and it's too much for me to exactly explain, I can tell you all the astrological influences that are pointers to what's going on, but instead there's not enough time, and it really doesn't matter. What matters is why are those things happening, right? And so those things are happening, particularly the last 2 years with COVID and different events, to help us see how emotionally healthy are you? How authentic to yourself are you? Or are you someone who lets life, like I just said, let the boat take you to wherever it goes, and then you decide how you respond? So one of the big questions that's happening with this whole thing is, who are you? To ask the question, who are you? And I'm sure many of you, you know, we talk about reincarnation. We talk about we're not a body. But this is like now the big question is like, who are you outside of these events? Who is the truth of who you are? And who are you in this lifetime? What are your values? What are your values? Because we point fingers to other people not having values, but what are your values? And the question now is, are you living them? Right? Are you living them? And then how can you bring those values to the world? That's actually what's happening right now. Because if we become a better version of ourselves and we're all beings of vibration and we're connected, this will expand out into the world. So a lot of people, and I think this is the purpose of what's happening. And as we enter into age 9 and the age of fire, because the polarities are going to get bigger. The polarities of the haves and the have-nots, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, the wealthy and the unwealthy, like they're all choices that we can choose to navigate between. Who are you? And it's not just about doing. It's also about yin, being, okay? So we're asking ourselves, what's the bigger picture? Why am I here? So when I started working with Feng Shui particularly, I've been doing metaphysics for over 40 years, I discovered that it was easy to manifest. Like I could make things happen, and I still can make things happen. But I realized too that you manifest more money, or you manifest things to do with more business or that type of stuff, but it didn't necessarily bring me happiness. And it's only over the years that I realized that my own internal beliefs would limit me from, I had a story, and that story was limiting me from having a happier life. And that's when I realized that through the manifesting of making more money or doing things, that I also had to do equally yin work and inner work to look at my story and who I was, my restlessness, my beliefs, and to start being open to changing them. And so I see now, and I believe if we look at everything that's happening in our lives as we are being guided, and hi, so Christopher, Aman, so nice to see many of you here joining me. Thank you, thank you. If we start looking at the events of the world, again, as happening for us, then it becomes an opportunity to look at, oh, what is this revealing in my emotions? Because the way to vibrate to a higher vibration of more light is we have to get rid of our darkness. And that means processing it. There are no shortcuts around that. But when you bring an emotion out and you start looking at it, you get the tools to deal with it differently. Because it's so easy to project onto other people. I remember being in counseling years ago and I thought, oh, if my husband changed, I'd be happy. And he changed. Many things. He changed many things. And then I started to realize I still had some of that restlessness in me and unhappiness and things. And then I was like, oh, this isn't just about him. And then that relationship, we were married 18 years. It didn't last. My next relationship was 7 years. And in that 7 years, similar things came up. And when I was in that relationship, for the first time I saw, oh, the patterns are the same. So they must be me, because my law of attraction is attracting them, right? And this is when I really started realizing, oh, Feng Shui and metaphysics isn't just about doing make more money, action. It's also about look inwards in the inner work. And so I started to just look at things differently. And now actively, you hear me talk on Facebook and in different things, is like that I'm teaching people not only all the Feng Shui things about the right location and what do you want and how to activate that, how to also work with your inner energy and to bring them up. And we do that. And so please join me now when I have full moon groups, full moon circles once a month for free, where we do a look at the energies that way in a bit more depth, and then a guided meditation and a sound meditation, right? So at the heart of Chinese metaphysics, I just love Chinese metaphysics, because I think it's one of the best tools to sort of describe cosmology. One of the things they say is, in the beginning there was nothing, right? And so that's kind of the source that we came from. In the beginning there was nothing, like there was the Tao. And from the Tao came yin and yang. And so inside each of us is the personality that we were born into in this lifetime. And we chose certain characteristics and the parents that we were born with and certain lessons, if you will. That's perhaps more of the yang part. But the soul, the essence of who we are, is also in there. Inside each of us is the yin and yang part. And I remember my teachers, and I've had many masters, as teachers, talking about if you understood yin and yang in depth, not only how it is inside of us, but how it manifests in the world, you actually understood how energy works. And have you ever looked at the yin and yang symbol and sort of felt, oh, it's like the secrets of the universe are embedded in here? And so by our lives, we've been a very masculine society the last many, many years, right? About create, create, create. And the key now as we enter into age 9, the age of fire that's moving, coming forward, is that we now embody more of the yin and we find the middle way. That to heal the world is a process of doing both. And so it's not just about pushing, it's about resting and looking in. And it's about not neglecting our souls anymore, all right? So they say energy never dies, right? And so this is such an important concept to remember. Energy never dies. So we talk about that in Feng Shui, right? As we transform different things inside the home by moving things around and manipulating them. But the energy inside us also never dies. It can only be transformed. And just with the simple concept of yin and yang, we want to feel lighter. More money doesn't necessarily make you feel lighter, but I'm not saying it's not right? It's just like looking at the bigger picture. What is it actually you want, right? And so peace, connection, right? What is it? What are your values? So many people right now, in order to ask those big questions, and this is going to continue for a couple of years. Next year, 2022, in the year of the water tiger, is a year where there will be, if you know the chart and you look at the chart, there's a lot of deep water. And water is fear, one of the emotions. And so the predictions, if you will, for next year are an emotional crisis, a pandemic of emotions. Now, that is not something to be afraid of. That is something to just go, it's like winter, right? It's like, okay, those of you and us that are doing consciousness work will navigate through it just fine. Those who are not will see themselves as victims in the world, and the lessons that come up will be harder because what's happening is trying to wake us up. That's what's going on. So our bodies respond to energy. We're vibratory beings. And so this is where astrology and Feng Shui comes in. By using yin and yang and the 5 elements and time, we can raise our vibrations. And by raising our vibrations, I get excited here, right? We can manifest a better world because you can only manifest at the level of energy you are. So if you're in fear, you're going to manifest more fear. And so we have to group together, join together, because it is always easier to raise your vibration when you choose to join with like-minded people. And this is also a really important thing. The top 5 people you hang out with reflect your life. So I learned that about 15 years ago, and it stunned me. But when I thought about it, I thought, wow, I hang out with a lot of complainers. And so if you're going to hang out with complainers, you're going to get more complaining, right? And I thought, wow, I actually really had the thought, I need new friends. I need new friends. And I didn't want to say goodbye to the old friends. I just needed to bring in more positive energy. And this is when the journey of really questioning, well, what are my values? I value integrity. Okay, so that's one thing. I value integrity. Doesn't mean I always embody it. I'm a human. I make mistakes. I value integrity. But I also value kindness. I value connection. I value authenticity, if you will. I don't necessarily value honesty. I value integrity more because honesty isn't always kind. Oh, you look shitty in that outfit. Why did you do that? That wasn't very nice. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we don't have to say every thought that crosses our mind. And I've lived with people that are honest and not kind. I value integrity because integrity might come across, and kindness, because integrity means you're not going to necessarily lie, but sometimes maybe you watch more what you say. And it's very interesting too, as we work with our astrology charts, because the 5 elements, and those of you that are practitioners, and many of you here, and thank you, the 5 elements represent so many things, but they represent emotions. And as we go through each month, and this brings us to the predictions maybe of each month and each year, they offer us opportunities to learn those lessons. Like we're in a metal year. Metal might be about decision making and taking action, right? And it's also melancholy. So in the overall period of this year, those are emotions we're all dealing with. It comes into all of us. And then each month is another set of emotions. So this takes us now to the month of the metal rat. Okay, so what's going on, right? So we're in the month of the metal rat. It started December 8th. And if you go to my website, Lois put the link up there. The elements of the month are metal and water. Now in Chinese astrology, there are 60 pillars. We call them 60 pillars. And the pillars rotate in a yearly cycle, monthly cycles, daily cycles, and together they create patterns of energy. And somebody said the other day, they were describing to their sister how when I see a chart, literally what happens for me when I look at your chart, it's like the images that I see jump up and I see a story. I see a story. I see the past and I see the potential future and I see your possibilities. I mean, I love doing readings, but if you do get a reading with me, if you decide to get a reading with me, be prepared that I'm going to tell you action steps. It's not just insight. Who I want to work with is people that are ready to take your life to the next level, right? Who are ready to make a change and difference, who are tired of being where they're at and who want some support. So the energy of this month is metal and water. The other really curious thing to note is it is the same energy as 2019. Okay, 2019. So that was the beginning of COVID. Now, whenever a month comes up that is near to a year, what happens then is an opportunity to actually reflect and go, what happened in that year? And maybe is there some things I need to clean up? Or what is the possibility, right? The emotions run deep, for sure. The overall stars of the month are in general good to the year, but the emotions of this month, which are now going to continue till January, and January is going to even be bigger, because January is the same monthly energy. Oh, pardon me, Metal Rat was last year, 2020. This is 2021. So 2020, last year, Metal Rat, right, which was the year of the lockdown, the year of all that stuff. And now we're heading into Metal Ox month in Metal Ox year. The next 2 months are repeats or adding to the energies of last year and this year at the same time of being in it this year. And the energy of the ox, which is what we call a graveyard year, and it's earth, and buried in the earth is metal, is the whole purpose of this year is to bring up what needs to be healed. And now we have more metal with the rat and the water washing out the dirt, metaphorically, so that we see what needs to change. Where are we not authentic? What do we need to do? Okay, and so yes, within that, there's opportunities to make money and there's opportunities to do things. But please, I urge all of you to take the time to do some inner contemplation, to look at who you are. Because next year, Water Tiger year, an emotional year, but each month of next year is the beginning of the next 12 years. So Water Tiger month and Water Tiger year, and then the following month will be Rabbit, which will be the following year. So, and astrologically, the energies that are happening as we enter into age 9, moving forward, is we set the seeds for what we want for the next 12 years of our lives. So ask yourself, where would you like to see yourself in 12 years? What do you want your legacy to be of those 12 years? What emotions do you want to feel? And then what course corrections do you need to make to get there? Okay? So yeah, rat is month of the rat. It's Christmas. There's lots of things going on. There's lots of fear. The water is deep. And I would say psychologically, we're all being impacted. Even if life is good, I feel the heaviness. And so I consciously have to go walk in nature, consciously bring myself to the present, or consciously, have you ever noticed, or I just realized, breath, when we breathe, it is through the center. And by taking a deep breath, we are activating our heart and our gut, right? And we come back to the center. We bring the yang and the yin together. For a moment, we're present. And so breath work is so important right now. And we are doing that in the moon group. And so even if you're just doing a 4-count breath, when you feel yourself getting caught up in emotions, breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, right? And then hold for 4. Just a box breath, right? Takes you to the present. And then you can just scan your thoughts for a minute and choose peace, right? Just choose for a moment peace. The more we do that, the more of an influence we have moving forward. So the biggest concern for next year is, yeah, there's going to be lots of psychological impact. I've said that. I believe drug overdoses will continue to increase. There's a chance of suicide. So really just make sure that people that you know and are close to, they stay connected, right? Really important to have connection. And self-care. I would say self-care is the big theme for next year. And what is self-care? Well, and actually, law of attraction. Did you know law of attraction doesn't work if you're tired? Think about it. It's that simple. I mean, even Chi Men and all those types of things, if you're tired, they don't work because your vibration is low. So good sleep and exercise and good food are the 3 main things we need to do to keep these bodies healthy. All right. And so, yeah, rat is peach blossom for many of you. That might mean we're all going to be networking and seeing more family. I mean, that's just literally what happens, right? Whether it's in person or online. Now, let me get to your individual day masters. If you are a wood day master, the particular energies, okay, so that's yang wood or yin wood. This is the top part of the day. The energy of this month is that your reputation is more visible. Okay, people are looking at you. And so consciously, what do you want to be seen for, right? And so the opportunity to raise your influence is there. So be conscious about how you want to be more influential. There are opportunities out there for sure. And the trick is, though, because there's so much water in the month, is to make sure that you take the actions to anchor them and ground them, because otherwise they'll just be like a log floating down the river. You don't grasp them. If you are a fire day master, there are wealth and influence opportunities for you this month. And what that means is more work, right? Fire day masters, you actually have lots of opportunities this month. Take them, right? And manage your energy so that you can grab them. But I think the thing too is to focus. Choose 1, maybe 2 things to do, especially if you're self-employed, in increasing your network or improving connections with 1 or 2 people that are particularly influential. And how do you become more influential? When you're in a cycle of influence. And those of you that are interested in learning more about Batsi, which is what this is called, please send me an email, right? And let me know so that I can decide as I'm moving forward in my courses next year where people are at and where they're interested. I mean, truly, to learn this takes time. Maybe you just, and I will do some what I call fluffy classes, 1-day classes next year. But as you set your intentions for next year, this is for all of you, in order to live a better life, you have to become a better you, right? So many, like, if you're so what does that mean? Can you learn something new, right? Like, what can you do to be better? What actions? Now, it might be exercise, it might be more kind, but it might actually be learning something, right? Because if you don't make change, nothing changes. Nothing changes unless you create changes. And that might mean eating differently, exercising differently. Okay, so fire day masters, there are opportunities there for you. Go find them. It's about go out and conquer a little bit, right? So what is it you want? Go after it. Earth day master, there are also wealth opportunities out there. And work with the thing here for earth people particularly is to create win-win solutions. Now, if you're following me, you know that the only way I want to create solutions is win-win. I don't believe in the strategies of win-lose. I think that we can all, because that's not the world I want to live in. I want to live in a world where it's win-win. And so that doesn't mean it has to be fair down the line. That's not necessarily the case, but it isn't at the sake of making somebody lose that I win. So Earth Day Masters, find people to work with and create opportunities if that's what you're looking for, because there's opportunities from that. Metal Day Masters, your emotions might get the better of you this month. So metal and water together are considered the 2 most emotional energies, okay? And so It's like rusting metal, it can be. And so often, and metal is already, even though they appear tough and all that, they're actually not. Inside, they're very emotional and sensitive. So don't, and metal then what it tends to do when it gets overwhelmed and sensitive is they hide. So don't, that's not the answer. The answer is facing your emotions, dealing with them, not projecting them. Like this is an opportunity to look at that, what's going on, and then working with that. Take care of yourself. Find your inner child. Go for a walk. Hang out with people that make you feel good. So depending on your chart, for metal people, this might be a tough time. So in 5-element theory, we bring in more fire. Now for all of us, we need more fire this month because there's too much water and too much metal and it's dark. Put up your Christmas tree, right? Eat soups. Like fire can be so many things. Exercise is fire. Sex can be fire. Like so many ways to go. Fun is fire. Go find ways to have fun, right? So there's the day masters and the potential there. Oh no, water day master. So water too, it's like more water. You're a little bit like a tsunami. Now, that's a force to be reckoned with. You can use that to make things happen. The key is to stay focused, okay? Because water tends to go all over the place. Stay focused. Now, because there's so much water, there's a tendency for you to cut corners this month, right? Now, and of course, this depends on the chart. For some of you, you need more water, and some of you don't need more water. But there's potential when you cut corners for contract issues, people getting disappointed because you promised this and you can't deliver it because there's a tendency for strong water people to overpromise because they think they're so capable. Anyways, that can cause legal issues. So be careful, don't be careless. And in your relationships as well, make sure that you understand your own capacities and maybe promise less than more. Okay, let's look at the 12 animals now, all right? And I'm going to look at them a little bit. My advice or my insights, if you will, are more a combination of the monthly in regard to the year as well. So I'm going to start with the tiger, okay? So this is a good month for you actually overall. Oh, and actually let me also clarify, when I look at the animals, this is such a general way to look at astrology. Your whole chart is more than just 4 animals. It is the interactions of the elements in them, okay? So, and the primary method of looking at the monthly energies is we do look at combinations, but there's always what we call the Shansha stars. And so there's peach blossom or wealth stars or nobility stars or guide stars or intelligence stars, and they influence us each month. But in addition to that, this is for you practitioners, the element, like just because it's a good star, for it to honestly be good, it has to be an element that's good for the chart. Otherwise, it'll have less of an effect, okay? And so make sure that those of you that are looking into charts, you understand that, okay? The tiger, though, overall has positive stars this month. And the rat, you know, it has a neutral energy with the rat, if you will. So it's overall fortunate with good stars. Still, though, there's 2 months left in this year, or about 7 weeks, 8 weeks left in the yearly energies till February 4th. And the yearly energies with the ox is there's a hidden combo. So what that means for tiger people is that they've been surprised somewhere that something's come up that you didn't see coming. And that could be in the relationship, it could be in health. And next month, in the ox month, this would be coming up as well. You're probably already seeing the areas of your life where you need to pay a bit of attention. You know, there's a saying, I think one of the big things moving forward that has to happen is we have to learn to listen to our intuition. And what our intuition is in our gut. That's where our, you know, to listen to our intuition and to pay attention. So if you're getting some signs, oh, I should call this person, or I should ask if everything's okay, or I should go get a doctor's appointment, listen to it, you know, and take some action. The rabbit with the rat is a peach blossom with another peach blossom. And so it's a very interesting interaction for those two, because you're going to be very popular this month. You're going to be popular. There's in general some very good stars. And if you're in networking and in those types of things, there's lots of opportunities. However, in dating or in romantic attachments with the rat and the rabbit, there's this sense of disappointment or something happening where people let you down. The lesson in that is, because everything that happens, remember, is for us, not to us. The lesson in that is can you let go afterwards? Like, what is that bringing up in yourself that you need to look at? Because nothing happens to us that we didn't ask for. Nothing. We are not victims. Our souls decide before we incarnate what's coming, right? And so we work with that. So there's strong career prospects for you this month, Rabbit. But if you're going to date or if you're going to go out, I would say take a little while to get to know that person and spend some time. Also, if you know your values, and authenticity or integrity or things like that are your values, if you're clear about that, that's your vibration that you're emitting out. And here's the thing too, the negative aspects of signs and interactions only show up if we still have to learn the lesson. And so when I was in my second 7-year, long-term relationship, and I thought, I remember just asking myself the question, because I thought in my marriage, my husband was the problem. And then if he changed, I'd be happy. And then I met a guy who was completely different, who was very kind, but he didn't necessarily have integrity. He wasn't able to always do what he said he was going to do. And I remember the feeling that brought up in me was abandonment, which I see now as for myself, a long and old issue. And the feeling that it also brought up in me is there's something wrong with me, that if they loved me more, like it was from within me. And that I realized I was attracting people into my life that reflected the lessons of my subconscious beliefs. And so every month and every year brings us opportunities to look at things differently. And when you heal them, they no longer appear. Okay, dragon. So the dragon is going to have a little bit of the dragon and the rat is a combination. So that's great because the dragon and the rat means opportunities are coming your way. And so the dragon though and the ox to the year has what we call a destruction. So it's an interesting combination happening because with the destruction, what's come up for you this year, if you have dragon in your chart, is people have let you down. You feel let down by other people. And now you have a combination coming this month where there's opportunities and things coming to you. Well, are you ready to say yes? Or do you not want things to change? Because things are always changing. And so part of this is allowing yourself to be curious, one of my favorite words, to be curious and open and see what's coming and how can I work with that? All right. And so there's wealth luck out there for you, dragons. And but don't be naive. Again, it's like the whole year actually is also still teaching and moving into next year too. You need to learn to speak your truth, but in a kind way, and stand up for yourself and just do your due diligence, right? And things will work out fine for you as long as you are true to yourself. The snake. And so the snake is overall going to have a good month. And I think this year has not been bad. You've had a combination to the ox. Opportunities have come to you. If you're ready and you said yes, you've had some promotions or different things have happened. And then this month also brings positive stars. You might be actually moving or having an upgrade in some way to what's going on for you. Happy events and occasions await you. The horse can look forward to next year. And I actually think this year has overall been okay. But this month, the rat month, is never your favorite month because the horse and the rat clash. And so a clash means something that needs to change will come up for you. Okay. And so, however, if you're resistant to change, it could be painful. So maybe this means, and Christmas is not the best time to start a diet, but maybe it means you need to start a diet. Or you need to do something like that, how can you bring change in, And so there will be some challenges, but as long as you have a positive attitude and look at them openly and don't let your emotions put out your fire, because water is like emotions. Fire can also be strong emotions. They're clashing this month. So this is a month for you to learn to manage your emotions. And then through that, and what's going to come up for you as well is you're probably feeling undervalued. And that's an issue that's been a bit there this whole year for you, is feeling undervalued, not appreciated by those close to you. But nobody can undervalue you if that's not something that you're emanating. and insecurity. And these 90% or, of our beliefs are underneath the surface. And I talk about this more in the moon group. But maybe you were born in a family of a whole bunch of kids, or maybe your parents worked really hard, or they just were not there for you. If you could look at that as, oh, my soul chose these lessons so that I could learn to see the truth of how we're all connected. Because miracles happen when we look at things differently, right? And this is true for all of us. I mean, I know these different animals may not all be in your chart, but these things that I'm talking about will come to you some month next year. Like every month it's an opportunity to look at different things. The goat. The goat had a tough year. And this month is not going to really make it better. But tough to me, honestly, in the past 30 years that I've been doing this, my best years at the end when I looked at them were the hardest. Because I changed, I learned, it brought opportunities. And as long as I was willing to let the universe support me and guide me, help showed up. I needed to be open to it. And part of that process was me being part of the solution, not me being part of the problem. It meant embodying the emotions and values that I appreciated. And I really think a lot of life is as simple as, can you keep your heart open, right? And some of us have chosen very hard lives in this lifetime to work with that. But find role models, find groups. This goes back to, who do you hang out with? Mother Teresa is embodied grace, right? She embodied grace. Now, I don't want to live the life of Mother Teresa in form, but I want to embody how she had compassion and love for everybody, right? So the goat this month, be patient is what I'm going to say. Expect delays. And when you lower your expectations and you come into every event curious and open as to what might happen, miracles will happen for you. So you be the one that bring people together, and you be the one that be of service. You be the one that heal relationships for other people, and goat, you're going to have a great month then. So it's not about what other people are doing for you. The lesson is, what are you doing for them? And to do it with non-attachment, to just do it genuinely, unconditionally. Monkey, in general, happy and fulfilling month. People will want to be around you. They'll like you. There'll be opportunities, right? Are you ready? Are you ready to say yes to the opportunities? I think monkeys can easily get distracted. They're so social and animal. And again, this becomes focus and what do you want? But yeah, in general, monkeys, you guys are going to have a great month. The rooster and the rat don't have the most favorite relationship. But the rooster has a combination to the year that, in a way, whatever happens, you will be fine. Things are quite smooth. You know that the years where I say you're going to have a good year are often the years that you actually do the least to get ahead in life, because the tension, we actually need tension to be able to take action, right? And so look at that a little bit differently too. It's like, oh, wow, if something comes up that's disturbing you, it's like, okay, how can I work with that? The rat is not the rooster's friend in general. And so be clear with your communication and your expectations with other people, because that just means things might not. So give unconditionally. Don't sit there and be passive aggressive. Like, you actually have to speak up for what you want. If you're going to be unkind, you're going to get that back, right? It's actually going to show, are you walking your walk, right? However, there are nobleman energy there to help you and support you. So with the right attitude, you can solve all your problems and end up having a really pretty good month. Okay. The dog. Now, the dog and the ox are not friends. So the year has already been a bit of a challenge, but look forward to next year. It's going to be much easier. Okay. People, though, this month, because the rat, there's some stars there, you're going to be tested. And I think the dog is one of those overall general energies, if we're just going to look at it generally, that there's a loyalty to you. There's a loyalty and a giving that and I find often with people that I meet that have a lot of earth in their charts, this is the dog, that there's often a resentment that other people aren't as giving and nurturing as they are. Well, then that's your lesson, to give unconditionally, because if you're in resentment, you are dark and in emotions that need to be transformed. So this is another month where you might not get treated as fairly as you think you should be treated, but the only person to blame is yourself, right? So we teach people how to treat us. I love that, right? We teach people how to treat us. And so it might be the month to have some communication from a kind and open place on how to set boundaries or what works for you, right? And if that brings up guilt, or if that brings up other emotions, those are things you might need to work at, right? And some of that might just be when we do the meditations in the moon group to, hi Paula, to do the meditations in the moon group to feel them and just process them, you know? And so for me, one of my teachers a few years ago when I went to Egypt and had a huge spiritual, I don't know if awakening is the right word, but I felt like I was cracked open. But he actually said to me, that because there's huge generational guilt and shame in my family of origin, being adopted and lots of things there. He said, you need to go home and cry. You need to cry for the generations of your family and things. And it doesn't mean I had to cry in public and become totally helpless, but it meant that at night, often as I woke up, I had to process these deep feelings that I had never dealt with. And that's not easy because some of us don't want to process what we think isn't ours, you know, but I had to accept I chose to be born into that family. And as long as I had feelings and resentment and issues of abandonment, I will continue to pick people in my life to reflect that and bring that up so I can heal it. And the way out is through, right? And so don't be afraid of your emotions, but learn to manage them in an adult way where you don't project them onto others. And that's why we do the moon group. And that's why I do, even in the classes that I teach, how to do those types of things. The pig. The stars are good for you this month. There's a combination in a sense with the rat because you're both water animals and you're both part of the seasonal combination. And because the ox is also your friend, this month the pig, the rat, and the ox have a seasonal trio happening. So things in general should go good for you, right? Lots of opportunities. Opportunities, though, can be scary if you're not ready to make changes. All right. And so look at that because that's something, there could be some chance of a lifetime things that happen for you this month. Right. And so maybe, yeah, like be open and to researching what they might look like. The thing is, pigs are a little bit of a daydreamer, you know, in general, and they can be absent-minded and they can sort of have this, they get caught up in wanting the nice things of life. And then because you're absent-minded and not present, that can bring in accidents or different things, which then you can say, even a self-punishment kind of thing, if you will, right? But it's like you cause problems for yourself. Step into your power and claim, like if your dreams came true, what would you like to see happen in your life? This is a month where potentially things can come to you that could make that happen. All right, the rat. Now the rat and the rat, it's like it's your month. But what that means when it's your month is that the universe is looking at you. What do you want to be seen for? Do you have clear goals, right? Do you have clear goals? Because if you do, you can get them done this month. But it's with pressure, right? There's pressure this month. So you need clarity. So ask for clarity in your meditations or go do things that can help you clarity. But by going out there and helping others, being seen for being helpful, I think influential people might come along and go, oh, that person would be helpful for me to know or have in my life. So this is a really good month. By giving help, you could get recognized and something of an excellent opportunity might come your way. So last but not least, the ox. The ox is the rat's friend. So the ox has had a challenging year because it's the year of the ox, meaning the whole year, well, it's actually a great year if you like opportunities and you were ready to seize the harness, you know, by the reins and go ride this horse into victory. But if you're someone who likes a low profile, not such a great year for you because this is where the spotlight has been on you. But now the rat this month is going to take some pressure off. Enjoy it because you have 1 month left to go with ox month in ox year. where it's really important, where you do the inner work of who am I, what's important to me, and am I on a path that's authentically embodying those things. What kind of help or support do you need? This is not a month to just relax, because even though it's a good month, I would say be strategic, right? And really think, what are you hoping? Because 2022 will be a much better year for you. But it could only be, the whole purpose of 2021 for all of us is to release what's blocking us from becoming our best self. All right. So this is an important month for you, Mr. and Mrs. Ox, to work through that. And to get ready to to have a good 2022. So on January 22nd, for those of you who haven't signed up, I'm going to be having an in-depth day looking at the Feng Shui and the stars and the animals for next year. So it'll be a 6-hour class. It'll get recorded. So Lois will put the link up here, but that's coming up. And I'm going to teach in that as well, in the flying stars particularly, and the Feng Shui, how every star is usable. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit here as well. But in the flying stars, next year is a really special year because the 5 goes back to the center. So it makes them all calmer and more usable, right? And so there's lots, I would say 2022 too, because it's a spiritual year. Strong, what we call 7 killings, but different things, is that it's a year that we could potentially create magic if you're conscious and able to, wanting to do that. Okay, so in the flying stars, let's just talk a little bit about Feng Shui. So I'm not someone that says, it's not practical, is it, to every month move to a different location? Or this is really almost more for some of you that are practitioners and fool around with this. However, overall this month, because each house is divided into 9 sectors, 9 compass sectors, and this method of flying stars, Kong, it's been around for, I think, at least 800 years, right? Is that if you know how to use the stars, particularly for those of you that are very goal-centered and oriented, you can use different stars for wealth, for relationships, for health, or different things. But in a general life, if you're doing well and don't have any issues, then we could just say in general, this month, the south sector is very good, particularly for academic pursuits, but there's also financial opportunities. And so you guys know, if you watch me regularly, that I sit in different locations. I move my desk around, or I face different directions. And that's called chasing the stars. I say in general, for those of you, south is an excellent location. So you might want to put your Christmas tree there, up in the south this month. The west is a good location, right? And so we activate them by putting energies in there. And in general, I think even the northeast is still very good as well. I would put the Christmas tree there as well. So those are ways you can activate them, or you can sit with them or do that. So the south, the west, and the northeast are my faves, if you will, for this month. And, I'll move my chair where I watch Netflix from, or things like that, or I'll move the computers or things. And so these are just ways, or open the windows in those sectors. Now, at a minimum, if I say the south is a good sector, for the stars 8 and 1 are there this month, between the yearly star and the monthly star. If it's clogged or blocked or, dead things there, it won't benefit you, right? Or even if outside there's dead trees or garbage or things like that within the proximity of your house. That's why the overall, actually, there's 8 weeks left of the year, right? Get rid, it's already time to start clutter clearing and getting ready for next year, because no 2 things can occupy the same space at the same time. So this doesn't matter whether it's the monthly energies or the yearly energies. This is the time to make room for new energy to come into your life. So I've already started taking things to the donation stores and things like that, and just making room for new energy, because I'm actually, I like, though it's a huge way to work with energy. I don't really want to say a lot, to avoid an area, the area that has, see, I like working with the 5, but if you don't know how to work with the 5, I would say avoid the southeast this month, between the 3 and the 5 there is, but when you occupy an area that has what we call particularly agitating stars or whatnot, it brings up they're not out there to kill you or hurt you. If something happens, what they're there to do, like if you activate a star and you have arguments, it's because you're here to learn negotiation and communication. If an illness gets activated, it's there to teach you to take care of yourself, right? Or to look at life differently. All of these have beautiful potentials. However, all right, so that's enough of flying stars. I'm going to talk about some activations. Some of these are meditations and some of these are with water, okay? And so you're going to need a pen and paper here. And I think these are in order. So on winter solstice, it's the day, December 22nd. I have two activations for you for that day. And one is with water and one, both involve some type of meditation and prayers. So the first one is, we're still working with the energies of releasing what needs to be released and transforming that, if you will. On December 22nd at midnight, okay, in the morning, 12 a.m., there's a special portal of energy that opens that allows you to reflect on your inner self and to find out still what's trapped or hidden from the past that needs to be healed. And so the trick with this is to light a candle with gazing meditation and or look at a dot, but the idea is to keep your eyes open, and you can do this just for 10 minutes or longer, whatever works for you. And you are just with the intention of allowing the images to come up that need to be healed, okay? There's some beautiful stars that day between 10 Spirit and Holy Heart and different ones. I'm not going to get into it all, but at midnight in the morning on the 22nd, with the solstice, which is always a portal, is an excellent time to do a meditation, okay? Then that night, to set the intention, same day at 5:38 p.m., for those of you that do water activations, put something of water. Now, this is where you need to know a bit of Feng Shui in South 1, okay, in Bing. So you put some water there and you start the water, and then you go and do your prayers or you set your intentions for the what you'd like to have come in the following year. Okay, now the water in South 1 can be a wealth activation at the same time, but regardless, otherwise, what I would just say, and I don't have a direction for you to face while you're, even just the intention of setting an intention or doing prayers and wishes at 5:38 p.m. Is about bringing in abundance, peace, and gratitude for the year. So then another one, December 26th. Okay, you at 7 o'clock in the morning or between 7 and 9. Yeah, Julie, South 1, you need a Chinese compass and you need to know a bit of Feng Shui in order to be able to do that. So unless you've had a consultation with me, some of these won't work for you. South 1 is, oh, actually I can tell you, I think it's 165 degrees, but it has to be magnetic, okay? December 26th, this is not, this is in general, okay? So first of all, you do a healing bath. This whole purpose is healing the past and letting go of the past on December 26th. It starts with a healing bath. If you don't have a bath, do a shower, and use some salt and some oils and some different things. And so you are asking when you have the bath or the shower to heal. This might be literally a physical issue, or to heal the emotions behind a physical issue, right? Or to heal the emotions that are in your life preventing you from moving forward. Then after the bath or shower, you're going to sit and reflect for a while. Now, if you know what Southeast 3 is and Northeast 3, these are the portals of the pig and the snake. Okay, and so if you don't, just in general, give your intention to face the pig and the snake towards Southeast and Northeast. But this is the heaven and earth portals on the compass. And so you can use some sound, you can do some different things, but the whole idea here, you could ask somebody to do Reiki on you. This is a healing day or a healing meditation to rid yourself, not rid, but release some of the stuck things inside of us. So that's on December 26th in the morning, okay? Now, if you can use the Southeast 3 location, do, but if you can't, just find the Southeast location in your room and face the pig, Northwest 3, and sit with your back to the snake, okay? This is another meditation on January 3rd. This is to let go of the old self and to bring in the new self. Now, the Chinese calendar does not go to the Gregorian calendar. And if you look at these days, there's lots of portals happening. It's just too much to explain with lots of good stars. But this is about Phoenix rising, rebirth from ashes. It's a dragon day. Doesn't matter if you're a dog, you can still use it. And at 9:39 or any time between 9 and 11 in general, the idea is to let go and release what's not serving you and bring in the, what does. And if you can, face south one. And if you can, sit in the north section of your place while you're doing it. It is about releasing the past, closing the past, and you could light a candle and meditate while you're doing this. Okay, so those are my activations, if you will. And every month I'll share with you different activations. And if you've had a consultation with me, you can look actually on the floor plan and have the highlights. And otherwise, contact us to book one. Or there's lots of practitioners on this call even, right, too, where you can bring this for other people. 2022, the year of the water tiger, is governed by two spiritual pillars. There's a lot of water. There's what we call 3 sky horses. There's a lot of movement. This is what's coming. The chart is not balanced, okay? So you can look at that and you can react with fear, or you can turn within to the part of you that remembers you chose to be reincarnated at this time. And we chose to be here together. We are part of the energies that's helping rebirth this planet and rebirth ourselves in the process. The only thing you need to do throughout this whole time, I would say, is to choose to be curious and take responsibility for who you are, right? Are you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? And part of this, because so much of our body is dense and old energy in our neural pathways, this takes a bit of work. We're stuck in patterns of reaction, of fear or guilt or shame or, and so just start becoming more of the observer and looking at that. And in that, stop blaming, be part again of the solution. And really, I'm creating these 2 online things with Facebook and the Moon Group, in that we form communities where we raise our vibrations together. So yeah, we're heading into age 9. It's the age of transformation. Are you ready to these next 8 weeks to let go of more of your heaviness and become lighter? Are you ready to say yes? Are you ready to say yes to next year? So I'm going to leave you with this. Find out, what are your values, right? What do you need to do to be more authentic? And set an intention, not just for 2022, but where do you see yourself ideally 12 years from now, right? Do you have certain subjects you'd like to master? Is next year perhaps a year for you to study with me in depth, right? Please come and join my mastery program, which is a full year program, right? Where I take you through the process of learning this. Many people traditionally studied this not to become consultants, but as personal growth tools for their own life. All right, that takes me to the end of today. And so thank you to those of you that stayed on with me, and love and light to all of you. And may you have a beautiful weekend. And I'll see many of you. Oh, don't forget to sign up for the full moon circle on the 18th. The link is on my website, and I think Lois will post it here as well. And so, yeah, we'll do a beautiful sound meditation and more insights. And it's an hour and a half on the 18th from 7 to 8:30, Yeah, so thank you all so much. Thank you, Aman. Nice to see you. Larissa, thank you. Thanks, Julie. Lovely to see you guys here. Concha, I'm glad you made it. Thank you. Teresa, yeah, thanks. Thanks, Lois, for posting that. Yeah, you're welcome, Teresa. I hope things are getting easier for you. Thanks, Adriana. Yeah, 7 p.m. on the 18th. You have to sign up, though. It's not on Facebook here. It's a Zoom group. Yeah, thanks, Anne. Have a lovely day, everybody. Bye-bye.